A sworn election official from the state of New Hampshire, the location of the most recent caucuses, was caught on video instructing voters to vote Democrat. Aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, Freethinkers. Hey Freethinkers, Chandler here, and today we've got a breaking bombshell story from our friends over at Project Veritas. Now, as many of you all may know, Project Veritas is the organization behind the very well-known Expose 2020 and Expose CNN series. These series took a deep dive into the inner workings of CNN and various Democratic presidential campaigns, exposing bias and even legal infractions. Before we start the video, are you interested in gaining access to exclusive content and possibly influencing what kind of videos I make, all while supporting the channel? Then you should see our membership options. We offer 3 different tiers for you to pledge to that all offer different perks. The influential Freethinker tier even allows you to suggest topics for me to make videos on. Exclusive Freethinker tier provides to you never before seen content and exclusive content that only you get to see. Hit the little join button next to the subscribe button to learn more and pledge. Well, Project Veritas has not slowed down the heat, as you can tell. I mean, they've been heating up lately. Founder of PV, James O'Keefe, who was recently suspended from Twitter, is heavily involved in this one. James traveled to New Hampshire along with some of his own undercover journalists, and they got to recording. The undercover journalists were acting as a couple coming to vote in their local caucus, but they hadn't quite made their decision yet on their candidate. They spoke to Beth Hunter, a sworn election official, who was serving as a volunteer to monitor and assist in the voting. Well, she was quite easy to sell. Beth spoke with the journalists, and she told it all. This is where things get good. You know what? Here, have a listen and we'll recap in a minute.
We are at Gilbert H. Hood Middle School in Derry, New Hampshire, in front of election judge Beth, there she is right there. Beth is walking over there. She was caught on tape about 30 minutes ago telling us the sorts of candidates that we should vote for and talking about Rush Limbaugh, which is apparently against the law here in New Hampshire. And again, this is where we are in the state on primary day. The polls are about to close in a few minutes, and we're going to talk to Beth and see what she says.
We were just wondering, like, who has the better chance of beating Trump? Because that's all we care about.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I wish I could tell you.
Yeah.
Nobody can really predict the future.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I've been campaigning for one of them, but I can't tell you that.
So, okay, so say if there's, like, top 2, which one do you think? Just, and then we can maybe, like, split it or something. Yeah, you know what I mean? To make sure, make sure one of them gets in, right?
Each get a vote.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
You don't know, like, top 2 maybe? I mean, that's, like, it's still not one.
Last night it was Bernie and Pete Buttigieg.
Okay.
So, there you go.
Okay.
I can only tell you what was on the TV.
Okay.
So yeah, she broke the law. She broke her oath and committed a crime, and it doesn't even look like she knew it either. Not surprised. But yes, as you heard, she by name mentions 2 of the presidential candidates by name as suggestions for who to vote for. Senator Bernie Sanders and good old Mayor Pete Buttigieg. But hold on, there's more. Listen to this.
Can you tell us if that's wise or not?
Oh, I think it is.
Okay.
I think voting any Democrat is wise.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oops. Busted. So, Mrs. Hunter, who I predict will be in a lot of trouble soon, said that voting for a Democrat would be a wise choice, in her eyes at least. May I remind you once again that Mrs. Hunter is a sworn election official. Considering she's involved with, I don't know, the very elections that fuel our country, shouldn't she be impartial? And let me make this clear, whether she's advocating for a Republican or a Democrat as the wise choice, she's still breaking the law. It just so happens that she's advocating for a closeted communist and somebody who's being called Mayor Cheat now. New Hampshire's really shaping up to be a mess. Maybe not to the extent of Iowa, but it doesn't take a bloodhound to sniff out the foul play going on here. This video has just begun, and poor Beth Hunter has already broken the law. And it gets worse from here. How could she go further, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. She, of course, brings up Rush Limbaugh, our favorite radio show host who was recently diagnosed with stage 4 terminal lung cancer. Prayers for him, please. In fact, according to her, she was almost in tears when he was bestowed with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Not in support of him, oh no, but in disgust and negative disbelief. No happiness or sympathy. No, negative disbelief for Rush Limbaugh. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I was almost in tears when he gave that award to that radio.
Oh, Limbaugh. He's disgusting.
I know.
Gosh, I wanted to write, this can't be happening.
I know.
It can't be.
Now, after the clip with the undercover journalists ends, James O'Keefe just clarifies which law she broke. Let's read it out, so you guys understand just the weight of this situation. No election officer shall electioneer while in the performance of his official duties. For the purposes of this section, electioneer shall mean to act in any way specifically designed to influence the vote of a voter on any question or office. Any person who violates this provision shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. So yeah, she broke the law, no doubt about it. And you'll never guess what happened next. James O'Keefe had a little discussion with her himself, and things get a little interesting to say the least.
Are you allowed to get political as an election judge? You're not allowed, but was it getting political by talking about Rush Limbaugh?
Yeah, when they asked me about it, I guess I shouldn't have replied to them, huh?
You shouldn't have talked about Rush Limbaugh?
No, I guess not. Yeah.
Are you aware of what the laws are in New Hampshire?
No.
You're not aware of the laws?
The laws.
The laws regarding electioneering, undue influence as an election worker in the state of New Hampshire?
They asked me a question, I answered it.
Well, is that an excuse to break the law?
No, I didn't. I didn't know I was breaking the law.
Oh, you didn't know that you were breaking the law? We visited a couple other locations, and they told us that it was, in fact, illegal to offer advice on which candidates. In this poll location, do Democrats and Republicans vote here in the primary? Did you tell them to vote specifically for a Democrat?
No.
No?
Nope. It's right on there.
It's right on here. That's right on here.
In James's chat with Beth, it turns out, like we all expected, she was completely and utterly clueless that she had broken the law. So yeah, as you heard, she had no idea she had broken the law. She thought nothing more of saying that a Democrat would be the wise choice to vote for. No foul play there, obviously not. She thought nothing of speaking about Rush Limbaugh in a negative light, or about bringing up Czar Bernie, or Pete Cheat, as we like to call him now. May I remind you once more that she is a sworn election official? Yeah, I gotta rub that one in. She really messed up here. So, a problem of ignorance of the law has to come from failure of training, right? Well, you'd be exactly right. Let's move on. James O'Keefe spoke to the deputy moderator of the New Hampshire election, and we get a fairly good idea of what went wrong here. Listen to this.
I am the deputy moderator.
Deputy moderator.
So what is the problem? That's the issue. I don't know.
We're just reporting on, she was telling us who to vote for, this Beth individual. Yes. And we believe that that's a violation of the state law. And she told us that she doesn't know what the law is. So whether she's a volunteer or a public employee, she probably should know what the law is.
Well, I know we had training, but not everyone attended training. A lot of the volunteers didn't attend training.
We're here at the Calvary Church, where one of the voting locations. We're going to speak to one Mary Till. Talk about Beth. She was telling a couple of people who to vote for. She was making political statements, this individual. Could you?
Well, then maybe that's not the person I know. She's a volunteer who will get a stipend for helping out tonight.
A stipend is like a payment?
Yes.
Yes.
She's an election, a sworn election official.
I have to say it one more time, guys. I have to. She was a sworn election official, and she didn't even go to the trainings? She didn't know her own rules? She didn't know her own laws? What did she know? Oh, well, she knew what a wise choice was. We know that for fact. Project Veritas spoke to other election officials, and when asked by other undercover journalists what candidate to support, they all pointed out that they couldn't answer.
So there you have it. Here in Derry, New Hampshire, at the poll location, the election worker Beth was on tape. We think exhibiting undue influence. Some of the other workers were telling us that they can't give us any advice, clearly pointing out the laws on the books and on the wall. Beth said she's not aware of what the laws are. Very strange statement for someone to make, but Project Veritas is everywhere here in the state, developing relationships. We will find you, we will film you, and if you're breaking the law or exhibiting undue influence, we will make you famous.
Who knows how many people Beth influenced illegally by saying what a wise choice was, or that Czar Bernie, or Pete Cheat, as we like to call him, was the better choice. Who knows if she will face any consequences for her actions. But what we do know right now is that she broke the law, and if there is any sense left in this country, she will face the misdemeanor punishment for it. But for now, all we can do is stay tuned for more. If you'd like to keep up with this story and plenty of others, then make sure you hit that like button and subscribe with notifications on to never miss a beat. Also make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram to keep up with everything that's going on, because you never know what's going to happen next. It's a fast world we're living in now. If you'd like to support my extended coverage of stories like these, then you should check out my donor box. Whether it be content enrichment to improve the quality of my videos, childhood fun to have a bit of fun, or the travel fund which allows me to attend political events and bring you coverage, you can choose what your donation supports. If you'd like to give your support, then you should hit the donor box link in the description, or go to donorbox.org/support-Chandler to learn more. If you'd like to make recurring monthly donations, then as I said in the beginning of the video, you can check out my membership program, or you can hit the recurring donation option on DonorBox. Aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence.